What's going on, YouTube? I have a treat for you today. I got Collin Whitney in the house from Philly, Power Build gym owner, entrepreneur, freaking badass, all right? This guy is a powerlifting brain, and today we're gonna be benching together. And all I have to say is that whatever he's gonna say, make sure you listen to it because he's full of knowledge, and I'm gonna be picking his brain the entire day on how to get a bigger bench. He's gonna be giving you tips, gonna be doing a lot of stuff, and at the same time, what are you gonna be hitting today, Collin?
Today I'm gonna have 5 doubles. I have a meet coming up July 17th, so we're kind of getting into like the peaking phase. Gonna be working up to some heavy doubles. I don't know. We'll see. I've been maybe 440, maybe even 450. I don't know.
Nice.
See what he gets me to do. So
yeah, absolutely. I probably won't be going as heavy as him today. I'll probably be in mid threes, mid to high threes. My shoulder and my lat has been giving some issues the last couple of weeks. I just got 2 Prolozone shots yesterday, so I'm still a little sore. But what I'm gonna do is I'll work my way up, and then if I'm gonna go heavier than a certain number, I gotta see how I feel. Then I'll put the slingshot on and run it with the slingshot, right? So just to make sure that we're both doing some work in here so you guys see the differences in his bench compared to my bench. And my biggest thing today is for you guys that wanna get a bigger bench, you guys figured out, okay, there's different ways of doing it, okay? There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Not everything works for everybody, okay? And I'm sure Collin will back me up on that.
100%.
And we're talking about a guy here who has right now 75 current powerlifters that are competing.
Yeah, USAPL, USPA clients, yeah.
Everything, right? National champions, you name it, he's coached them all, right? So a guy like this, when you have someone like this in my gym, I tell you guys, everyone you know knows something you don't. I live by that, okay? And as long as I've been doing powerlifting and he's been doing powerlifting, I'm still always gonna ask him questions. I'm always gonna pick his brain to see what works for him, how it works, and then we go from there. And that way you guys get a lot more information, okay? That hasn't changed.
I honestly have seen the road from my head shift really moving for the first time.
Didn't affect.
The volume from that's suicide.
All right, guys, so I want you to take notice. How I put my feet is a little different than the way Collin puts his feet. That is a huge debate in the bench world on foot placement, how you put your feet, whether you're flat-footed or whether you're on the ball of your feet, and then whether it helps you with drive or it doesn't help you with drive or whatever that may be. But I want to go into that on this YouTube channel with Collin, and my opinion is that what works for you may not work for someone else. So you have to see what actually works for you, and that's the most important thing. But it's good to see 2 styles of benching. I think it's very important because just being able to see how 2 people can hit the same number or around the same number and still have 2 different benches is pretty cool. All right, guys. So what I was covering before, I was talking about how you put your feet, right? So foot placement or heel placement, I would say better, whether you're flat-footed or whether you have your heels off the ground. So when I bench with my heels off the ground. When he benches, he feels more stable with his heels on the ground. Now, what would you say or recommend to a new person getting into the benching or the powerlifting? What's going to be best for them? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so you like he said earlier, there's a million ways to skin a cat. It's the same thing with lifting. You have your foot position, you have grip, not to get into a bunch of different things, but as far as your foot placement, if you're stronger on your toes and you can create better positioning that way and you're stronger, that's the way you should do it. For myself, I feel a little bit unstable with that, like with my toes only on the ground, so I'm flat-footed. I feel stronger. Stability is everything, right? Positioning is everything. So if you have your feet planted, if you have your back locked in, that's the base to your bench. You want a strong bench, you want a strong press, you have to have a strong base. So that's going to be the biggest thing, finding what's the strongest for yourself, whether it's on your toes, whether it's flat-footed. You got to maybe experiment with both, see what works better. And again, one might allow you to get into a better position. Maybe having your toes pulled back allows you to get your chest up a little bit more. You're a little bit stronger that way. It might be the opposite though. So you got to test it out, see what works for you. That's where you're going to be your strongest.
How do you feel about arching your back? We got a lot of guys who are like, oh, the arch in the back, too much arches and that. For me, I arch it somewhat, but I don't overdo it in regards to like, oh, way up there.
100%.
But I'm a firm believer that you have to arch your back to a certain extent so you can engage your lats and get in proper positioning, you know what I mean, for your shoulders to be right, your lats to be right, everything to be locked in, you know, what do you think?
100%, yeah. So with the arch, some people, you know, they bash it, you're arching, you're cheating. It's not the case. Arching is creating positioning. Everyone's arch is going to be different. You'll see me and Tony, we're probably similar. We don't have a huge arch. Most people would call us a flat back bencher. We're not flat back. You can see there is somewhat of a natural arch that's allowing us to get our chest up, that's allowing us to keep our lats engaged, which is, and again, give you more power. The more muscle you can get involved in the press, the stronger you're going to be. Creating the arch keeps you safe and in position to do so. So a lot of that might also be genetic. T-spine flexibility is going to be kind of what allows you to, you know, have the crazy arch, or maybe not much of an arch at all. Me and Tony, again, we're creating an arch, but that's about as much as we can go. Yeah, it's a natural position for us. Our shoulders are in good position. They're nice and strong. Our lats are engaged. You can see our lats working throughout the movement. That's what you want. So it's, again, try seeing what you can do, see what positioning works best. That's the route you're going to want to go, and you're going to want to continue to refine that as you experiment on these few small differences.
How do you feel about bar placement now when it's coming on your chest? I usually have it just below my pecs. So I usually put it about right around here. Some people feel a little bit different. They go a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I hate to answer where it's individual, but a lot of times it is. We're all built differently. Limb length's different, positioning's different, grip width is different. That's going to change where you're bringing the bar down. If you're a little bit of a closer grip bencher, like myself, Tony as well, we're going to probably be just below the pec, maybe even like the nipple line. Where you're a wider grip bencher and maybe you also have an arch, you might bring the bar down a little bit lower because that range of motion's even shorter and you're able to comfortably do so. One thing you probably don't want to do is bring the bar up too high. If you're up high, that means elbows are probably out, and then you're going to be putting a lot of negative stress on the shoulder. You don't want to do that. That's where you're going to run into injuries, weak setbacks. Try adjusting your grip, finding where you're bringing the bar down. It's going to vary a little bit, but once you kind of feel that groove, you'll know it. It's going to click, and that's where you're going to want to be.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. You got a couple of tips there in regards to the benching. And like I said before, you know, 1,000 ways to skin a cat. The best thing is to do your research. Okay, you can look Collin Whitney up, okay, at Power Build Gym. He also has a YouTube channel. Go ahead and follow his YouTube channel. It's going to have a lot of information coming out there. But he also has his own subscription service and his own programs, online training, I'm assuming. His online training. How many people you have on there? I know you got a ton of people.
Yeah, we have I don't know, 600, 700.
600-700 people. Yeah, so 600-700 members doing his training. I'm telling you, this guy is really good. He coaches a ton of people, national champions. Can't say enough about him, and I've been really good friends with Collin for a long time. Super humble guy. I can't do enough to recommend him, right? So if you're looking into going into just strictly powerlifting, he's a great option with a ton of, and I can say this about, one thing about Collin that I've known him for years is he's very passionate about what he does. So he gives a lot of emphasis, meaning he's gonna give you a lot of time. You're gonna have a lot of coaches out there that have just way too many guys, or they just don't have the time for you, where they're just gonna give you a template and that's it, that's what you get. With him, you're actually getting him to answer questions to you. He's gonna be more on a one-on-one basis, you know what I'm saying? So highly recommend him on that note. That's pretty much done for the day. Guys, on to the next one.